One particular memory that I have from when Mum was in the hospice, because of the stroke, she wasn't able to really communicate with us very well at that point. She wasn't able to talk to us, but I remember when we arrived at the hospice and we went through into the room to see her, kind of for the first time that I'd seen her since she'd arrived at the hospice. I just remember sort of looking at her face, and in hospital she was just sort of staring quite a lot, with the stroke leaving her sort of locked in her own body in a way. And for some reason, when she arrived at the hospice, I could just see in her face and in her eyes that her whole face had relaxed, and she really sent to me to be comfortable. And I knew that she was aware that we were there with her, which I hadn't particularly felt for a while. And it was just really, really important that I knew that she knew that we were there with her at that time, and that she wasn't going to be in any pain, which was our biggest worry really. We just couldn't bear for her to be in any pain, so it was a really big thing for us. One of the things that sticks out for me about the hospice is the staff that work there, and just how friendly and kind, and they're always willing to speak to you no matter what time you want to go to them, and they'll talk to you about anything. I remember the chaplain in particular was somebody that, whilst my mum was in the hospice, I just found myself sort of going to for advice, or I had questions that I knew nobody could answer, but the chaplain was always there just to talk to me really, and to try and understand how I felt, and let me know that it was alright to have the sort of feelings that I was feeling, or the fears that I had. I was 24 and losing my mum, and not really sure how I was going to deal with that, and what the rest of my life would hold. And at 55, it was such a young age as well, thinking about my dad and how he would manage, and what the rest of all of our lives were going to look like really. And the chaplain would sit and talk as long as I wanted to about whatever it was I wanted to talk about. I was always there, not on a religious basis. I don't consider myself to be particularly religious, but just a friend, someone to talk to while we were here. He would pop his head into Mum's room regularly, just to see how we were getting on, always smiling, and I think those are the things that you take away, and he's someone that I consider now to be a friend and not a member of staff at the hospice. I remember when our friends brought in a dog, their dog, to come and visit, which was a really nice change, and Mum wasn't able to communicate very well at that point, so it was nice just to see when they brought the dog into the room and lifted it up to the bed. You could really see a difference in Mum, and the way that sort of her eyes really opened and she really focused on the dog, and that was something that we hadn't seen a lot of up to that point. So we knew that she knew what was going on, and it felt like being at home rather than being in sort of a medical environment. It was really relaxed, and again, it's the small things like that you take away and that you remember. I remember one particular day while we were at the hospice, and the sun was shining outside. It was really a lovely day in May, and we arrived at the hospice, and we was looking out of the doors at the sun and thinking, it'd be really nice to be outside. And I remember one of the nurses actually came in, and he said to us, why don't you go outside? Why don't you spend some time outside? And we said, my mum doesn't look too well today, so we're going to sit inside and make sure that she's okay. And I just remember him saying, well, go outside with her. And we sort of said, how? She's in bed and she's not able to get outside. And he just said, come on, we'll manage it, we'll do it. So we all sort of helped, and we pushed the bed outside. I managed to spend about 3 or 4 hours just sat in the sunshine, myself, my sister and my dad, with my mum. And it turned out, later that day she passed away, so for us that day was something that I look back on and is so important to me, and I'll never forget